Another assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential debate.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Early voting kicked off today.
Welcome to election night coverage.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
On a Friday morning, right before the gun deer season, right before Thanksgiving week, it just hits different, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It puts you in an even better mood, if such a thing has been possible over the past couple of weeks. I don't know about you, but all of my As I said, we still don't have a computer that works. I'm not exactly sure. The internet here all week has been a little finicky. But again, I can't be too upset at anything. Holiday season officially kicks off with Thanksgiving. Yes, we are bringing back the Dan O'Donnell Show Christmas bumper music on Monday. I'm not going to be here a week from Monday. We're going over the river and through the woods and across several states. We're having the family down in Naples for Thanksgiving this year. It should be a whole lot of fun. I can't wait. Our family, my wife's side of the family, we're doing a bit of a Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday night. It's the weekend. I mean, what's not to love, right? Coming up on today's show, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I have the way forward for Republican candidates at all levels of government to continue winning. Now, there is some debate as to whether it was fueling Trump's win, Trump himself, which I think was a big part of it. Was it his personality? Was it the fact that people said, hey, we can compare the years 2017 to 2021 to 2021 to now, and there's no comparison. Donald Trump was just a better president. The United States was doing better. I believe the American people have realized that COVID-19 was not Trump's fault. Believe it or not, now I think a critical mass of people understand and accept that COVID-19 really did escape from that lab in Wuhan. I mean, it was always the most logical thing. We now have pretty compelling evidence, I think, that the virus was actually transported from North Carolina EcoHealth Alliance, because remember, there was the ban on doing what's known as gain-of-function research in the United States. The Obama administration enacted a ban on that. You know who is big time against it? One Anthony Fauci. So they partner with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and they conduct experiments on coronaviruses, bat coronaviruses, you know, the exact sort of coronavirus that infected the entire world. I never once believed that it was weaponized. I always believe in Occam's razor, or there's another razor. Never chalk up to malevolence what can be chalked up to incompetence. Hanlon's razor. Hanlon's razor. I'm a big subscriber of Hanlon's razor, especially when it comes to government. Just assume people are incompetent. Was it Trump Was it the comparison of the two presidential terms? Was it just deep dissatisfaction with the Democrat brand? Was it a backlash to the tyranny of the woke, as I've called it since 2020? The fact that you weren't actually allowed to say anything that would go against the dominant narrative? I think it's a combination of all of that, but I really do believe that I have the path forward, and it is a direct result of lessons I hope everyone learned from Eric Hovde's loss in the Wisconsin Senate race. We'll get to that story coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Of course, the big news politically, Matt Gaetz out, Pam Bondi in. What exactly happened there? I think I've got an idea, but this is one of the things that even experienced politicos admit they have no idea what was going on with the Matt Gaetz scenario. His appointment in the first place, or his nomination, was so out of left field. Pam Bondi, longtime Attorney General of Florida, and she was one of Trump's attorneys, she always made way more sense. The left, by the way, is now freaking out over Pam Bondi. Do you know why? Because she's competent. They are very terrified that Trump might have a competent attorney general. Yes, how dare he appoint someone who's competent. So all that is coming up, of course, on the Friday show for those who are new to the program. And we do have new listeners and new viewers every single day. And we are so incredibly grateful for all of you. We take a break from the serious, get to the silly, how bizarre, coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. We have got a doozy of an unhinged liberal of the day. That is coming up. But we begin by going back in time. All the way back to the 1960s, all the way back to an author by the name of G. Edward Griffin. In 1968, he gave a lecture entitled "More Deadly Than War, the Communist Revolution in America." Now, you would think, okay, this definitely a point in time, as we are now on the 61st anniversary of the Kennedy assassination. It was a different time in America. We were in the midst of the Red Scare. The communist enemy of the Soviet Union was very, very real. There was an ever-pressing threat of global annihilation through mutually assured destruction, nuclear war. But what could be more deadly than war? What was it that G. Edward Griffin was talking about? Infiltration. The idea that the Soviet Union, or any nation state, remember, the country was 6 years removed from the Cuban Missile Crisis. We were just getting into the quagmire that became Vietnam, the domino theory that Soviet communism would spread throughout Southeast Asia if we didn't step in and stop it. But that almost immediately was becoming an outdated idea, that we would fight communism by fighting standing armies wherever they might be. Communism isn't a nation state. Communism is an idea. What Griffin said was far more deadly than war was the indoctrination into communist thought of people in America, specifically thought leaders, people who would be in charge of, I don't know, educating the young, educating young adults, educating the masses through broadcast and print journalism, government. Remember, this was the exact same time period where Joseph McCarthy and McCarthyism was very fresh in people's minds. The notion that communism was everywhere, that communists were infiltrating everything. It's probably because they were. In most respects, Joe McCarthy was right. McCarthyism, therefore, was largely a smokescreen, because communism wasn't the big, bad, guns blazing, destroy America by dropping a nuke terror that America back in the 1960s thought it was. It was the slow boil of infiltration into the levers of power and influence in the United States. In 1968, G. Edward Griffin gave his More Deadly Than War lecture. And what he said way back then echoes truer than it ever has. In 2024, what was the primary weapon used by Kamala Harris and her allies once they realized that, hey, Trump and Vance are just weird? Didn't work. They're fascists. And it wasn't just Harris and Walls. This has been a burgeoning line of attack for a long time. That Trump will weaponize the systems of government, that he will recruit all people who have the power of prosecution, the military, everybody to serve him and to not serve the United States. In other words, he would turn America into a fascist state. He himself is a fascist. Do you know who predicted all of that way back in 1968? G. Edward Griffin. Do you know why? Because he had read a communist directive from way earlier than that, all the way back in 1943.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
That is, to the letter, exactly what Democrats have been doing. There is a reason that Trump is a fascist wasn't necessarily just a Hail Mary in the waning days of a losing campaign. It's been the overarching idea pretty much since Trump came down the escalator in 2015, has it not? I think there's also history there, even before Trump. People forget how insane the left was over George W. Bush, which is why it made me chuckle that they were so desperate for Bush to come out and endorse Kamala Harris. Yes, the Hitler before the current Hitler endorsing your candidate is exactly what you need to save democracy. Way to go, libs. Great strategy. But their strategy is directly out of that communist directive from 1943. Nothing has changed from then to the time of G. Edward Griffin to now. The infiltration of communist thought, which has sort of been rebranded as social democratic policies or democratic socialist policies, it's all the same. It's the same basic idea of totalitarian control over communication systems, the centralization of government, and also the weaponization of the prosecutorial and military arms against political enemies. We didn't just see that with Trump, but also with the January 6th defendants. Most of them were convicted of trespassing. You had little old ladies who never even went into the Capitol who were prosecuted. They were kept in Soviet-style gulags for months without ever being formally charged. The criminal charges, the convictions, the sentences were so out of whack with anything that had ever been done before that it raised a whole lot of eyebrows. But that was nothing compared to what the Democrat socialists, the neo-communists, did to try to stay in power against their primary political enemy, Donald Trump. They invented a criminal charge to use against him in New York. As soon as he announced for the presidency, almost exactly 2 years ago today, within 2 weeks there was a special counsel appointed. Not constitutionally, as the United States Supreme Court noted. There was no constitutional appointment. Jack Smith's office just sort of existed. There was no Senate confirmation. There was no proper creation of a special counsel. It was just there. Once again, constitutional behavior, legal behavior in both federal prosecutions was made illegal against only one person, Donald Trump. Down in Georgia, same basic model was enacted. And all of those cases were lined up one after the other after the other. If Trump's legal team didn't fight back as hard as it did, Trump would have been on trial from when the first prosecution or the first case started in New York in April all the way through to September or October. The entire summer would have been him on trial. Didn't work, but that was the plan. As soon as Trump wins the election, special prosecutor makes a move to disband his office, saying, I'm going to be gone. Makes a move to drop his appeal in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Judge Juan Merchan, just this week, instead of sentencing Trump to jail time, prison time, or probation, which I think was probably most likely if he thought he could get away with having a sitting United States president on probation, he's now, I believe, considering just dropping the case altogether and vacating the conviction. Because it was a Soviet-style show trial. Even you, if you've never done anything that you think would anger the communists, chances are you did. I did. Just by virtue of having opposition party leaders on, like Senator Ron Johnson, like then gubernatorial candidate Rebecca Kleefisch back in 2022, to say absolutely true things like, hey, the vaccines don't seem to be stopping the spread of COVID-19. I was booted off social media channels. I have protected free speech rights, not only as an American citizen, but as a journalist. I'm doubly protected by the First Amendment, but I wasn't. I was thrown off of YouTube, Twitter at one point, Facebook. I wasn't able to post videos. I wasn't able to post my show. I wasn't able to post. And who am I, right? I mean, ultimately, I'm not so egotistical as to think that my words really ultimately matter. I'm an opinion journalist, sure. But when the only time I am ever thrown off is when I'm talking to someone like Johnson or someone like Kleefisch, who could be a leader and who could be very important in Wisconsin. Johnson already is. He was one of the leading voices in the, I don't want to call it the anti-vaccine, but the medical truth movement in COVID-19 in 2021 and 2022. That couldn't be allowed. Everything Democrats have done is deeply rooted in Marxist communist thought. Everything. From the way they pit Americans against each other for the purposes of political gain, this is straight out of Marx. It's the proletariat versus the bourgeoisie. But they've lost the plot. They've lost the proletariat. They are now the bourgeoisie. And do you know who noticed it and who is speaking out against it? Someone you would probably never expect. We will get to that coming up next when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
We all want more. More laughs,
more hangouts, more, this is the best takeout ever. Excuse me. But if you're 75 or older or 60 or older with certain health conditions, you've also got more risk of getting seriously sick from RSV. But an RSV vaccine lowers your risk, so you can keep doing more of the stuff you love.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov.
This Thanksgiving, spend more time with your loved ones and leave the meal preparation to us. At Sendix, we offer full traditional turkey dinners or just the sides. All homemade, in-store, then packed in reheatable containers. Choose from a wide selection of gourmet appetizers and signature trays, too. Spend less time in the kitchen and more time with family this holiday season. Reserve your meal at Sendix.com/holiday. From our family to yours, have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands. Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
George Edward Griffin, in his 1968 lecture, More Deadly Than War, the Communist Revolution in America. What was more deadly than open conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union? The generational infiltration of Soviet communist thought into America, which was going on in Griffin's day. In fact, we saw this with the takeover on college campuses. The left-wing, radical, black liberation, and open Marxist teachings were going from the students to the professors. By the 1980s, the young radicals, the Weather Underground, you might remember a couple of members of that, Bill Ayers, Bernadine Dorn, if those names sound a little familiar, they influenced a little-known politician from Chicago, who I believe knew them, guy from the neighborhood, I don't know, who of course became president in 2008, Barack Obama. These teachers, the baby boom generation, which was the first, I think, in American history to fully accept, adopt, and somewhat mainstream Marxist thought. We talked today about critical race theory and DEI. That started as critical theory in the 1970s. It is directly out of socialist teaching. Democrats, though, always wanted class warfare. They adopted the class warfare rhetoric of the Marxist, of Karl Marx, of the Soviets. That's what underpinned the entire Soviet Revolution, the Bolsheviks in the teens, and then, of course, the Cuban Revolution. It was always about la revolución of the people. Democrats, though, in 2024 have lost the people, because they've abandoned the proletariat. They adapted their socialism to race-based Marxism as opposed to class-based Marxism because of what I believe to be an inherently racist belief that Black and Hispanic voters are the underclass and will forever be the underclass. That if we just speak our message, if we tailor our message to them and what they've spent, especially the last decade and really under the tyranny of the woke, the post-George Floyd era of 2020 until now, what they've really done is tailor that socialism through a racial prism, through a gender-based prism. That you are oppressed. The Marxists, the communists said you are oppressed by the bourgeoisie simply by being a member of the proletariat, simply by being somebody who is not rich. And of course, Democrats have always thrived on, well, the millionaires and billionaires, they're the reason that you can't get ahead. I still love, and I know I always bring this up, but it's such a relevant point. Bernie Sanders used to talk about millionaires and billionaires, billionaires and millionaires. Then he became a millionaire with 3 houses, and now he's only ragging on the billionaires. But when Democrats lost the plot of pitting people against each other based on socioeconomics, I believe they lost America. And this, I think, is the deeper thing that's at play here. Trump, rather ironically, because he's a billionaire himself, is seen as the champion of the working people. But he's preaching a fundamentally anti-communist, anti-socialist, and pro-American, pro-industry, pro-capitalist point of view. In fact, in that sense, Trump is the champion of the everyman because he represents the American ideal. He represents the ultimate triumph of capitalism. This goofy, blonde-haired, orange-skinned dude can conquer New York real estate, then conquer the world through broadcast television, and then become president of the United States. What about Trump's life is not the American dream? And people see themselves in that. People see him as the ideal. And moreover, Trump and what he's saying explicitly is pro-American. Look, we're going to put America first. We're going to put America back to work. American manufacturing. America. What the Democrats are saying is, no, 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 no. You need to sacrifice some of your own comfort for the betterment of the world and for the betterment of your fellow Americans who must necessarily be worse off than you because they're Black or Hispanic or women or gay or trans. It's just a fundamentally cynical and, frankly, bigoted worldview. But doesn't it underpin so much of what Democrats do? DEI programs. Well, we need to have a certain quota of Black employees because clearly they wouldn't be able to get these jobs if we didn't have special programs for them. What? How racist is that? Same thing with school admissions. Totally unconstitutional. Supreme Court has affirmed that multiple times. They still want to do it. One guy, I think, perfectly encapsulated what went wrong for Democrats. Brian Williams, remember him? Probably best known as a liar, but in a rare moment of truth on the Late Late Show with Seth Meyers on MS or on regular NBC last night, spoke about exactly what the Democrats have done wrong. In their rush to make everything about race or gender or sexuality or whatever, they abandoned working class Americans, primarily because they said most working class white Americans, well, they're the beneficiaries of systemic racism. Meanwhile, white Americans are saying, dude, I make $35,000 a year and I can't afford toilet paper anymore. What the hell are you talking about? I'm benefiting from systemic racism and privilege. But Williams said once Democrats got away from that, and because they now control all the levers of power, they're the ones with all the wealth and the power and the privilege and the prestige, they can no longer relate to the people who were long the most receptive to their quasi-socialist class warfare politics. The working class who no longer resent those who are doing a bit better than them financially, but now say, I want to be like that. I want to be like Donald Trump. And what Williams says here is Democrats have spent all their time insulting those people instead of going to bat for them.
I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Poor folks already switched to Sparkle during the COVID, during the lockdown. And I think telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well. So there's a lot of work to do. You know, it was when they handed out camo hats that said Harris Walls, and the Democrats they were kind of charmed by that. Their party has gone quinoa, and the rest of America's eating at Cracker Barrel. And so it was kind of an ironic use of something millions of Americans put on their heads to start their day every day.
Truer words, I think, have not been spoken about the 2024 election. Now, why have Democrats been rolling out the red carpet? And now there's reporting that Biden is trying to quickly revamp regulations so that more illegal immigrants can get in the last month and a half, 2 months of his administration. Why? Because they're importing a new underclass. They are importing a new group of voters who they believe will be more susceptible than the Black and Hispanic voters who see through the racism, the soft bigotry of low expectations, as it's been long called, and they're gravitating towards Trump. They want people who are more receptive to this race-based Marxism because the rest of America is tuning them out and has tuned them out. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. You want an example of actual communist thought right here in Wisconsin? Stay tuned. We're going to bring that to you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you. It's deer season in Wisconsin, but I'm not talking about hunting. I'm talking, unfortunately, about car crashes. If you're unlucky and get into a collision with a deer, you could be entered into Mander's Hit a Deer, Win a Deer contest. That's deer as in John Deere, as in a brand new John Deere tractor mower. My friends at Mander want to add some positivity immunity to what can be a stressful, traumatic event. So now through February 28th, anyone who hits a deer and has their vehicle repaired at any Mander Collision location will be entered into a drawing for a new deer tractor. Hit a deer, win a deer, now through February 28th at all Mander locations. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
It's your last chance. Menards 11% rebate ends soon. Wrap up those big projects before the holidays. Weatherproof in style with new Mastercraft exterior doors. Customize your kitchen with Clearview cabinetry. It's time to pick up those new appliances or start your big garage project. Don't miss out. The 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving. Stores closed Thanksgiving Day. 11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, their U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Hey, this is Kyle Brantz. You're busy. I'm busy. But every single Monday, we take 10 minutes to dish out 10 takes. NFL, life, whatever, but never more than 10 minutes. It's 10 takes with Kyle Brantz. Driving home from work? You got time for 10 takes. Taking a smoke break? You still smoke? You got time for 10 takes. Listen to 10 Takes with Kyle Brantz on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search 10 Takes with Kyle Brandt and start listening.
The next generation is here. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Anything for you.
I would do anything for you, members of Dan Nation, my loyal listeners, including bringing you this fantastic news on a Friday morning. I opened the show by saying it feels better. Not just because half of our listeners are heading up north to do some hunting. Gun deer season, of course, starts tomorrow. It's not just because next week most people are working, 3 days, maybe 2 days. It's not just because Trump won. It's just everything. All of this. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Truly, the breaking news. Judge Juan Merchan in Manhattan District Court has delayed indefinitely President-elect Trump's sentencing after his 34 criminal convictions. He has also allowed a motion to dismiss the case entirely to go forward, saying that this president-elect being criminally sentenced would be a destabilizing force for the country. Yeah, no kidding. That's why no former president has ever in this country's history been criminally charged. Never. It's never even been considered until now, when the communists employed a full Soviet-style war against their enemies. Soviet-style thought in Wisconsin government, in one municipality. Which one do you think I'm thinking of? I will give you 3 guesses. I guarantee you'll only need one. In what city are they actually using Soviet communist-style housing plans? Producer Dave wants to know if it rhymes with Madison. Yes, it absolutely does. From my great friends at the McIver Institute, McIverInstitute.com, voters in Madison just approved a staggering $629 million in property tax increases. And now they're worried that housing costs are out of control. This month, there were 3 separate referenda on voters' ballots. 2 were from the Madison Metropolitan School District for $607 million. The other was from the city of Madison for $22 million. And guess what? Voters naturally approved all 3. Now, Madison media is reporting renters are struggling with housing costs. Median rent is $1,465 per year, which eats up more than 30% of the city's median income. No worries, though. Madison's Housing Strategy Committee has just outlined several proposals to alleviate housing costs for homeowners, as well as renters and students alike. Here is their first big suggestion. Quote, explore what can be done to encourage overhoused homeowners to downsize to free up existing housing stock in the Madison market. That's right, you libs. You want to really do your part for the betterment of your fellow man. Get out of your big houses because you have just way too much house. Downsize so a couple of families of illegal immigrants can move into your McMansion. Second possibility. Explore tools to curb the net loss of units as a result of new single-family home construction and replacements. Now, what might that entail, per se? An exploration of co-housing, in which residents share common areas like bathrooms and kitchens. Madisonians, they want you to take on a roommate or 6. You've got a den that you're not using because you're so overhoused? Well, you need to get one of those homeless people from State Street. Do your part, Madison libs. You voted for the property tax increases. You voted to make housing less affordable. Now you can actually do something about it. And, of course, explore partnerships for manufactured and modular housing to be created in Madison. These are like the tenement housing projects of the old Soviet Union, where everybody just lives in a small apartment inside a giant, brutalist architecture designed apartment building. Or the new thing that lefties are getting into is tiny houses for the homeless, or tiny houses for everyone. You see, if you're overhoused, what we can do is get you out of your McMansion, get you out of your, modest home on a half-acre lot. We could get like 15 different tiny homes on that exact same lot. We could have our own neo-commune where you once had a single-family home. Leave it to Madison to create a massive problem of unaffordable housing by dramatically increasing the cost of housing, and then propose actual communism to fix it. Unhinged Liberal of the Day is coming up next.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
If you're someone who hears love and thinks about a quarterback instead of romance, you're primed to listen to Green Bay Grapevine on WISN. Before and after every game, hard-boiled reporter Mark Daniels tells Jay Weber and his morning show audience about all of the trends and subtleties swirling around the green and gold.
Green Bay Grapevine is presented by Bob's Glass in Waukesha, featuring installation of glorious glass shower doors. If it's anything glass, think Bob's Glass. Bobs-glass.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Everybody loves this month. Thanksgiving, right? But don't forget Black Friday. It's the time of the year where you can get some amazing deals. Well, at the Lynch family of dealerships, they've got Black Friday savings all month long. Lynch has restocked its inventory so you can shop over 1,300 vehicles either on the ground or online at shoplynch.com. They've got trucks, cars, SUVs for the family. But the best part is there's no need to wait for hours in line or to put yourself in danger at a department store or big box store, because the Lynch family has your back. Black Friday savings all month long. Plus, you get your windshield and paint protected to get ready for those brutal winter months coming up. And that's why I highly recommend the Lynch family of dealerships. Best place to start shopping right now, shoplynch.com. That's shoplynch.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Winters with Brighter Concepts. The best things in life are revealed in natural light, and Solar Tube daylighting brings that natural light indoors. Our technology captures sunlight from every angle and guides it through the world's most reflective tubes. Then it delivers that light beautifully into your home or business. You'll call it brilliant. Learn more and take advantage of a 30% federal tax credit. Contact Brighter Concepts, your Wisconsin Solar Tube dealer, at 414-332-9050. That's 414-332-9050.
Attorney Tom Nichols.
Legal issues rarely arise in obvious ways with clear solutions. And legal opportunities are also sometimes hidden in the weeds. If you own a closely held business and you don't have user-friendly legal counsel assisting in your decisions, you're at risk of missing opportunities, or worse, backing into problems. Sometimes a solution can be as simple as devising form paperwork or establishing a new procedure. Other times it involves negotiating new contracts or terminating existing ones. Your business changes. So does the law. Actively managing your legal issues along with the rest of your business requires attorneys that are as up to speed in their job as you are in yours. You have enough challenges in your business. You don't need unforced errors.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols, MTFN.com.
This Thanksgiving, spend more time with your loved ones and leave the meal preparation to us. At Sendix, we offer full traditional turkey dinners, or just the sides. All homemade, in-store, then packed in reheatable containers. Choose from a wide selection of gourmet appetizers and signature trays, too. Spend less time in the kitchen and more time with family this holiday season. Reserve your meal at Sendix.com/holiday. From our family to yours, have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
The holiday season officially begins at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships with our exclusive Black Friday all-month-long sales event. Huge Black Friday all-month-long savings and discounts on America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC at nearby Cunis locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. All remaining new 2024 vehicles are now Black Friday all-month-long blowout price. Cunis has the area's biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, with many Black Friday all-month-long priced below $5,000 and payments as low as $149 per month. Additionally, with any new or pre-owned purchase in November, you'll get our exclusive no-fear lifetime warranty at absolutely no extra charge. Plus, we're paying above top Kelley Blue Book values on all trades in November, no matter the mileage or condition. The holiday season officially begins with exclusive November Black Friday all-month-long savings. Only at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships. Shop online at CunisBlackFriday.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Conservative thought.
Not just talk.
This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Conservative thought, but not just talk here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. We, I think, have proven that this hour with our deep discussion about the roots of the communist takeover in the United States and how it really started with the 1960s and the Soviets in the United States understanding that they needed to infiltrate the systems of not just power, but also influence. And influence was way more effective, even than government, in shaping thought for the 50 years that followed. Unfortunately for Democrats, they've sort of lost the plot. And by demonizing so much of the white working class, they no longer have a winning coalition. Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is in over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is whoever wrote this headline on MSNBC.com. Quote, Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. That was an actual headline about Jose Antonio Ibarra, who was convicted this week on multiple felonies in her murder. He's been sentenced to life in prison. As producer Dave notes, you know who really didn't stand a chance? Laken Riley. Now, this generated so much backlash on X that MSNBC has now changed its headline. As of 1 hour ago, the headline now reads, "The guilt of Laken Riley's killer was never in doubt." Do you know why Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance? Because the evidence was overwhelming, because there was no doubt in anyone's mind, reasonable or otherwise, that he killed her. MSNBC's headline writers, your unhinged liberals of the day. Coming up next, I really do believe that based on what happened in Senate races in both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, I have a viable, if slightly underhanded, way forward for the Republican Party to continue to win even when Donald Trump is not on the ballot, which is something that I can tell you political strategists on both sides of the aisle are game planning right now. Folks, the midterm elections are in less than 2 years, and our next big statewide election here in Wisconsin is in April. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back after the news.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. An 8-year-old child in River Hills died after being struck by a vehicle yesterday morning. The police chief there calls the incident a freak accident when the child waiting for a bus was struck by his parents' vehicle. The child died while being transported to the hospital. Police say the incident's being investigated with no foul play suspected and no charges being filed. The Watertown man believed to have faked his own death in Green Lake County before fleeing to Europe has been in contact with law enforcement. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol says Ryan Borgwart told investigators how he faked his death on Green Lake in August.
He stashed an e-bike near the boat launch. He paddled his kayak in a child-sized floating boat out into the lake. He overturned the kayak and dumped his phone in the lake. He paddled the inflatable boat to shore, got on his e-bike, and rode through the night to Madison.
Podol says Borgwart then boarded a bus to Detroit where he crossed the Canadian border and got on a plane to Eastern Europe. Police are working to verify Borgwart's story. President-elect Trump yesterday named Pam Bondi as his new choice for Attorney General. Bondi's nomination came just hours after original nominee Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration following increased scrutiny over allegations of sexual misconduct. Bondi was Florida's Attorney General from 2011 to 2019. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, it's NBA Cup action tonight between the Bucks and the Indiana Pacers at the Fiserv Forum. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Cloudier, but a bit milder today. We should have some patchy drizzle in the morning and maybe the occasional afternoon sunny break, high near 48. Overnight tonight, we'll stay in the mid-30s and from there around 46 to kick off the weekend with a mostly cloudy Saturday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Pearl's California-grown black ripe olives.
Martha Quinn here. It's time to rock Pearl's 100% California-grown black ripe olives. Now better than ever, Pearl's black ripe olives have nothing added but sea salt and water. No artificial colors or preservatives. For quality you can trust, look for the sunny yellow can at your local grocery store.
Saturday, the Badgers travel to Nebraska. Badgers game day is live at 10:30. Kickoff at 2:30 on Milwaukee's home for the Badgers. 97.3 The Game.
Happy Thanksgiving. You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here from my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's Black November deals and $1 million clearance sell-off are on now. Built Right has the most experienced team and best selection of affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses. Be ready for your holiday guests with thousands of items in stock. Gift certificates are available too. Built Right saves you money. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair, but when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that. only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there, but not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Malali. Malali Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
This Thanksgiving, spend more time with your loved ones and leave the meal preparation to us. At Sendix, we offer full traditional turkey dinners or just the sides. All homemade, in-store, then packed in reheatable containers. Choose from a wide selection of gourmet appetizers and signature trays, too. Spend less time in the kitchen and more time with family this holiday season. Reserve your meal at Sendix.com/holiday. From our family to yours, have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Hey, it's Benjamin Yon for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th. Schedule your in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or find them online at windownation.com.
Our favorite 4-letter word. Free! Free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Our favorite 4-letter word. Free! Free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Donald Trump has now been convicted of 34 different felony crimes.
Gunfire, former President Trump's campaign rally in Butler County. Investigators calling it a possible assassination attempt.
I proudly accept your nomination for president.
President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid.
There's been another assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential debate.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Early voting kicked off today.
Welcome to election night coverage.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
And his cabinet continues to take shape. Pam Bondi replacing Matt Gaetz as Attorney General nominee coming up in probably about 25 to 30 minutes. I'll get into what I believe happened in the Gaetz nomination and why he was the only one of Trump's nominees to immediately resign his seat in either the House or the Senate. I believe, it became something of a meme, a joke during Trump's first term that he's playing 4D chess while everybody else is playing checkers. In this instance, I actually believe there was a good deal of strategy. Within hours of Gaetz withdrawing, and clearly he had told Trump, I think, days earlier, if not earlier than that he was going to withdraw, if in fact that's actually what happened. Pam Bondi was ready to go. Already, they had everything. She clearly needed to be vetted, even though Trump knows her. So this was being done all the while, I think. Gaetz was sort of absorbing all of the left-wing outrage from Trump's nominees. We will get into that, plus how bizarre a little bit later on. First, if you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, our phone lines are always open, 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Follow me on X at Dan O'Donnell Show, on Facebook too, at Dan O'Donnell Show there. We're on YouTube. We are available in podcast form. Subscribe, like, follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. The Christmas tree lighting in New York is tonight. It's really starting to feel like the most wonderful time of the year out there. It did look like it yesterday. I wasn't feeling too wonderful as I'm racing in. A commute that normally takes me 5 minutes took me almost 40. It was truly amazing how many spinouts there were on the roads. But this weekend is, I think, the perfect weekend to get your entries, your submissions ready for the Dan O'Donnell Show Family Christmas Special. Families from all over are going to be coming in. You're going to be going to wherever it is. We believe that holiday travel is going to hit another record this year. I'm going to be one of the people traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday. We want you to submit your kids or your grandkids singing a Christmas carol, playing a Christmas song on their musical instrument. Send it to me at dod@iheartmedia.com. Video file, audio file, we will take either. Keep those submissions under 2 minutes. Make sure you tell me the name of the child, the age, and the city where they live. Typically, I don't do last names just because I don't want kids to be too identified, but I do want to say, Madison, age 3 from Hartford, singing Joy to the World or something like that. We want to have the most magical, special Christmas special, and I can tell you, folks, it is just so much fun to listen to this, to listen to your kids live on the radio when the show premieres 9 a.m. Monday, December 23rd, and then plays throughout the day, the following day, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day as well on News Talk 1130 WISN. We will also have a podcast available for download as soon as the show goes live. Make sure you get those entries in quickly because we have a hard deadline of December 16th. I will not take any submissions after the 15th. Unfortunately, I need time to put together the show, and I will only be able to guarantee that about the first 70 entries actually make it into the radio broadcast. I'm going to try to get as many as humanly possible into the podcast because there we don't have time constraints. But in terms of the radio broadcast, make sure you get those entries in quickly. This weekend, the long Thanksgiving weekend, perfect time to do so. Again, the email dod@iheartmedia.com. I just love this song. It's Treasure Chest from the Universal Production Music Library, which we have access to here at iHeartMedia, but I still get copyright strikes on social media. I don't know how to tell Facebook and its algorithm. We have the rights to use this music. We literally pay money. We literally pay money to be able to use that music. That is the theme song for the Dan O'Donnell Show Family Christmas Special, which we have been airing since 2020, and I hope to continue airing for many, many, many years to come. It finally happened. Bob Casey, Democrat Senator, Pennsylvania, realized that he can't cheat his way to re-election, even though his allies in Bucks County and in Democrat areas across the state were just continuing to find votes that they were counting long after Election Day. It is so weird how that happens. In California, you have had one congressional race already flipped. The lead is flipped from a Republican who was leading pretty much the entire time to 2 weeks later. Now suddenly the Democrat is leading. There's another race also in California, weirdly enough, where the Republicans' lead is now down to just about 140 votes or something like that. There was also a state Supreme Court race in North Carolina where votes that were counted long after Election Day had a liberal move into the lead, and she is now declaring victory. Bob Casey, poor Bob, he just could not make up the gap with Republican Dave McCormick in illegal votes. Ladies and gentlemen, this race is not just illustrative because it shows the lengths to which Democrats will go, just continuing to count votes until they count as many as they need for their ally to win. It also shows how Republicans clearly need to learn the lessons of Wisconsin's Senate race. I feel like I am the only one who is banging the drum on the idea that this race was stolen from Eric Hovde, but not in the way a whole lot of people who think every election that Republicans lose is stolen think, but that Tammy Baldwin and her allies literally put a fake candidate in the race, something that was actually illegal and criminally prosecuted down in Florida. That candidate, Thomas Leaguer, who appears to have been just an amiable dunce, recruited by a couple of big money Democrat donors who in other states tried to recruit other candidates who were all, quote, elderly or disabled or both. How do you think Leaguer feels that, hey, this guy is just dumb enough that he doesn't need to be especially old, so he wouldn't exactly know what was going on and why he was suddenly recruited to run for the United States Senate or United States House, or he's disabled in some way and just is not legally, mentally competent to sort of make his own decisions. That's what these Democrats were doing, except for Thomas Leaguer, still opening the door that he might be mentally deficient in some way. In fact, I know he's mentally deficient in some way. I just don't think there's anything physiologically or mentally wrong. I think he's just an idiot. They recruited him to the America First Party. It was a group calling itself the Patriots Run Project. Now, to give you an idea of how dumb Thomas Leaguer is, he was one of these merry band of idiots that tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer in 2020. Why do I call them idiots? A, it was a dumb plan to begin with. B, it was all instigated by the feds. They had no idea that the feds, there were more feds in that group than actual conspirators. Leaguer didn't talk. He didn't cave to pressure. He was never criminally charged. He was an unindicted co-conspirator. And the Democrats said, hey, we love how you didn't talk to the feds, how you withstood their pressure. We think you're just the guy to run for the United States Senate in Wisconsin. Leaguer, being an idiot, said, yeah, I am just the guy. Never once knowing, like with all of the feds who infiltrated his kidnapping plot, it was Democrats who were doing about the dirtiest of dirty tricks that you can pull. They funded his quote-unquote campaign. They funded his ballot access. He was able to get on the ballot. And believe you me, folks, the libs on the Wisconsin Elections Commission will allow anybody who runs on the American First or Patriots Project tickets. They want those people serving as spoilers. The Democrats' plot worked. Leaguer got about the exact same number of votes that separated Eric Hovde and Tammy Baldwin. It is, of course, impossible to know what these people would have done who were dumb enough to vote for someone they pretty clearly had never heard of in Thomas Leaguer. The America First Party. I like America. I like being in first. Thomas Leaguer it is, hick. It's impossible to know what they would have done. But what I can also tell you is that Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris in Wisconsin by guess how many votes? Almost exactly the same number of votes that Thomas Leaguer got. In other words, these were Trump voters who voted for Leaguer instead of Eric Hovde. There were an additional 42,000 people who voted for the libertarian Phil Anderson. Tammy Baldwin's campaign actually paid for advertising, boosting Phil Anderson. Just before the election, there was a YouTube pre-roll ad that was meant to sound like an attack ad on Anderson, but it said, Phil Anderson wants to eliminate income taxes and the IRS. Now, tell me, folks, what conservative, what Republican voter doesn't want that? It was the same strategy that Democrats employed in the 2022 midterms. They would spend heavily attacking the weaker of the two candidates who are running in the Republican primary by pretending, oh, this is an attack ad on, John Smith. When in actuality, the wording of the ad made it clear that it would be like John Smith is too conservative for Pennsylvania. Well, what do you think a conservative primary voter is going to say? Well, that's the guy for me, especially one who doesn't do his homework. Not only do I hope Republicans have learned their lesson from this whole episode? I hope, like with early voting, they adopt that lesson and make that strategy their own. In Bob Casey's loss to Dave McCormick, the Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, in the presidential race, got 34,000 votes. In Wisconsin, Stein got far fewer votes here than she ever has when she was on the ballot in 2016, or that the Green Party got in 2020 because, oh yeah, the Green Party was not allowed on the ballot. Democrats resisted the siren song in Wisconsin because when Democrats were still being honest about why Hillary Clinton lost in Wisconsin before they started blaming Russian hacking, they said, hey, Jill Stein being on the ballot clearly cost Clinton because Stein was drawing votes that might otherwise have gone to Clinton, and she got far more votes than Clinton lost by. So Stein got 34,000 votes in the presidential race. In the Senate race, there was also a Green Party candidate. She got 66,000 votes, 32,000 votes more than the Green Party candidate in the presidential race got. Guess what? Bob Casey lost by 16,349 votes. There were very likely 32,000 people, double the amount Casey lost by, who voted for Kamala Harris, but also voted for the Green Party Senate candidate. Now, I don't know, and am probably going to spend some time this weekend researching how much money was pumped into the Green Party candidate Layla Hazu, how much was pumped into her campaign, but I'm willing to take a bet that it was much more money than was pumped into Jill Stein's campaign in Pennsylvania. As dirty as it is, as underhanded as it is, if Democrats are going to play this game, I can't escape the conclusion that Republicans should too. If there is a Green Party candidate who is, now I'm not talking about funding a fake candidate. What I'm talking about is funding the Green Party, which is an entity. It's a minor party, but it does have, I believe it has a presence in all 50 states. I haven't admittedly done a ton of research into the Green Party. They are less of a third party, much less, in fact, than the Libertarian Party, which runs a candidate in a whole lot of statewide races and runs a presidential candidate every single cycle. Republicans need to understand that siphoning votes away from their opponent is a game that Democrats have been playing with increasing regularity, and that if winning elections is a game that the Republican Party wants to continue to win, especially when the draw of Donald Trump on the ticket, who I believe is a once-in-a-lifetime transformative political figure, when he's not there and he's not going to be on the ballot ever again, Republicans need to do whatever it takes to win. Democrats clearly don't mind engaging in the dirtiest, most underhanded, and yes, illegal. What was going on in Pennsylvania were illegal tactics. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania told the Bucks County election commissioner or clerk or whatever the title is to stop counting these provisional illegal votes. She did anyway, twice. And when it became clear that the number of votes that were still outstanding, total number of votes that had come in heaven knows when in the 2 weeks since Election Day, when that total was smaller than the number of votes that Casey still trailed Dave McCormick, only then did he finally concede. The strategy could not possibly be clearer. You keep the polls open. You allow votes to come in, to be mailed in after Election Day, and then you claim, oh, yeah, this was totally received. This was totally postmarked by Election Day. It just happened to come in 3 weeks later. That's what they're doing in California. This is why, by the way, mail-in balloting is the easiest way to steal elections. Now, I'm not suggesting, of course, Republicans engage in outright fraud or election rigging. But if the Green Party candidate, which already cost a Democrat in Wisconsin, in Hillary Clinton in 2016, which very likely cost Hillary Clinton the presidency, although the blue wall states, the upper Midwest, they always swing together, which is why when it became clear that Trump was going to win Pennsylvania, it was clear that he was going to sweep all of them. It's the same thing with Arizona and Nevada. The voter bases are so similar, they always swing together in presidential elections. The voter bases are very, very similar in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Used to be Ohio as well, but Ohio has just gone redder and redder and redder in the past decade or so. But we have already seen what a third-party funded candidate who appeals to left-wingers can do. We have clearly seen what a third-party candidate, two of them, who have gotten open support from both the Democrat candidate and their close allies, what they can do in a Senate race. This is rather obviously something that Republicans maybe need to not compromise their ethics, but accept that marginally ethical, very possibly illegal. I've been looking at Wisconsin state law. It does seem that unless the people who were funding Thomas Leaguer exceeded campaign finance limits, that it's totally legal. I mean, to fool some idiot into running and just running a ghost candidate, a fake candidate, it appears to be legal under Wisconsin law. And if it's legal, it should be something that's explored. Look, I believe in honest elections. I believe in fair elections. I believe that you should never compromise your integrity, because ultimately your integrity, your honor, your word, those are all you have. But we're fighting an enemy that clearly doesn't have the same ethical standards. And that enemy won because they didn't care what it took to win. They did it. We will step aside from all this serious talk of politics and elections and all of that, and we will get you the silliest, the strangest, the most bizarre stories of the week. How bizarre? Coming up next.
Hello, commercial customers. This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center, and it's end of the year tax planning season. We've continued to work hard sourcing over 400 of the best GM, Hino, and Isuzu commercial trucks from all over the country. Most are ready to go, and some are ready for your custom upfit. The best part? All of our trucks qualify for the Section 179 tax deduction for 2024. Now, I know you're busy running your business, but we've made it easy. Go to lynchtruckcenter.com, select your truck, and click on the green button on each truck page to instantly see potential tax savings. For example, if you buy a $50,000 truck at a 22% tax rate, you'll get $11,000 in potential tax savings. You can deduct 100% of the purchase price from your 2024 taxes. Essentially, the truck will only cost you $39,000. Remember, we are in the truck business, not accountants. So, be sure to verify these tax savings with your tax professional. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com today. We won't disappoint you.
Your next event starts at the River Club of Mequon. A contemporary 400-person grand ballroom with outdoor space overlooks the golf course. This unforgettable venue is perfect for your wedding day or company event. For a tour, visit riverclubofmequon.com.
Trinity Academy is a K-3 through 12th grade independent Catholic school in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Our students learn critical thinking skills in device-free classrooms and consistently score in the top 5% on national standardized tests in mathematics and reading. Our grads earn top spots in honors programs at many prestigious universities. I'm head of school Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell, and we'd love for you to visit us at trinityacademy.net.
It's important to effectively treat diabetes. On this afternoon's latest Word on Medicine, the Medical College of Wisconsin's Dr. Mickey Voss will explain what the symptoms of diabetes are, and more importantly, how diabetes is diagnosed. The latest Word on Medicine today at 2 on WISN.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word secure to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text secure to 989898. That's secure to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
One of my favorite recurring segments, I believe our longest running. Believe it or not, this segment predates my time at iHeartMedia. I was working for another radio company. I thought it was a fun little segment. The host of the program thought it was a fun little segment. Management did not. They wanted to focus on the serious news, the hard news, the investigative work that I was doing. And I said, you know what, management? I think people need a break from investigations. They need a break from elections. They need a break from hard news. So we brought this segment right here to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We step aside from the serious. We focus on the silly. Ladies and gentlemen, time for another installment of
How Bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
This is easily the most bizarre story to come out of Wisconsin in quite some time, and I am loving every single update on it. The man from Wisconsin who faked his own drowning over the summer so he could abandon his wife and 3 children has apparently been communicating with authorities back here daily from his new home in Eastern Europe, even telling them exactly how he faked his own death. Ryan Borgwart has been talking with authorities since November 11th after he disappeared for 3 months. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol said at a news conference yesterday that his team has been talking to Borgwart pretty much every day since. He even showed a video that Borgwart sent the sheriff's office that day. Podol said the great news is that we know he is alive and well. The bad news is we don't know where Ryan exactly is, and he has not yet decided to return home. Borgwart looked directly into the camera in that video. It appears to have been taken on his phone. He said he was in his apartment, briefly panned the camera, mostly showed just a door and bare walls. I'm safe and secure, no problem, he said. I hope this works. He's basically like taunting his wife and kids and authorities right now. He is like the Zodiac killer adulterer's version. Borgwart told authorities he fled because of personal matters. Podol did not elaborate on that, saying he was just going to try to make things better in his mind, and this was the way it was going to be. By making everyone thinking he was dead is somehow better than ditching them. Borgwart told authorities he traveled about 50 miles from his home in Watertown out to Green Lake. He overturned his kayak, dumped his phone in the lake, and then paddled an inflatable boat to shore. He told authorities he picked that lake because it's the deepest in Wisconsin at 237 feet. After he left the lake, he rode an electric bike almost 70 miles through the night to Madison. He then took a bus to Detroit, boarded a bus to Canada, I should say, and got on a plane there. Police are still verifying Borgwart's description of what happened. In case you thought that you were stuck in your marriage. In case you thought that you were trapped. If you've ever, and all of us, I think at some point have felt like, oh man, is this it for the rest of my life? Is this, I'm going to be doing silly stories on a Friday until I just die in this chair in front of this microphone? Rest assured, Ryan Borgward has felt way more trapped than you ever possibly could.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
What is it about Wisconsin this week? The Shawano County Sheriff's Office has fielded an unexpected 911 call from a 10-year-old who called in to ask for help on math homework. Shawano County Sheriff George Lenzer tells Good Morning America the child reached longtime dispatcher Kim Krause when they dialed 911 on November 15th after informing the child the emergency line isn't for homework help. Kim decided to help nonetheless. She had some time, so she said, "Can I help you with the problem?" And well, he gave this long problem with decimals and she was unable to help him. So she informed him, "Well, let me see if I got a deputy near your residence to help." Lenzer said, although the Shawano County Sheriff's Office, which serves about 42,000 residents in a mostly rural area, tends to be busy, Deputy Sheriff Chase Mason happened to be available and in the right place at the right time. Lenzer explained this isn't something we normally do, but he wasn't busy at the time and was in the area, so he stopped by. Mason has a stepson that's about the same age, so he sat down and helped the child with their math homework. The sheriff's office posted the unusual call on their Facebook page. Lenzer said he is proud of Deputy Mason for stepping in and added that deputies and staff occasionally help others in the community, even for non-emergency situations. In a related story, I know exactly how I am going to go on a massive burglary spree in Shawano County. Yeah, like 15 kids need help with their homework, officer. You better send a bunch of deputies over there.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Finally, passengers on a recent cruise ship were met with panic when the ship was hit by strong winds, causing it to tilt very sharply. It unfolded on the Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas, a 15-deck ship with a capacity of 4,300 while on a transatlantic voyage from Barcelona, Spain to Miami, Florida. The ship encountered a sudden powerful gust, and the storm caught passengers and crew members by surprise. There was just chaos on board. The winds caused the ship to tilt more than 14 degrees to one side. Furniture was sliding, glass was shattering. Passengers were fearfully clinging to surfaces for stability. Witnesses reported plates flying, a grand piano skidding across the stage, and passengers screaming as they fled for safety. Guess what song was playing in the background? Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On from Titanic, leading some to believe the unsettling scene was orchestrated by the cruise ship company. One passenger told WPLG in Miami, "We were in the theater and they were playing a Celine Dion song from Titanic, and we actually thought it was part of some special effects." Ultimately, the captain diverted to Las Palmas to allow an injured passenger to receive medical attention. The ship did dock safely in Miami after several days of delay due to the storm-related damage. No word on whether Rose was able to flee her abusive fiancé and start a new life in America. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I can never resist this song. Your look at the strangest stories of the past 7 days on How Bizarre.
My dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's Black November mattress deals are on now. Their one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop and easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national, or local chain store, department store, employee free store, online retailer, or warehouse club because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Built Right has the best value selection and most experienced team in Wisconsin. Over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands made in the USA: Heirloom, Gold Bond, Therapeutic, Restonic, and Schiffman. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find flippable two-sided and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday. They're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Now for This Week with Annex Wealth Management, I'm Dan O'Donnell alongside Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex. And this week, Dave, the Trump bump post-election on Wall Street continues.
Yeah, that's really a good point post-election. So if you look at what has done well, you can see automobiles at the top of that list, obviously led by Tesla, and then banks because of the deregulation story that continues to drive performance. Think about the names that are out there. And, of course, the independent power producers are really up there. But what is not doing well, think RFK Jr., biotech, life sciences, and pharmaceuticals are leading the bottom of the post-election rallies. So, Dan, you think about where people are going to asset allocate and what they're going to do. It is, of course, about how regulation and deregulation is going to change here in the next couple of years.
And it does seem like Trump, who enacted an aggressive deregulation agenda in the first couple of months of his first term back in 2017, is poised to do the same. He's also tapped Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to head DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, to try to root out waste in the federal government. That all goes hand in hand, I think, with just trying to make government run more smoothly.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if they can get where they want to go, that is going to be good for the budget, because right now we're watching the 10-year Treasury tick up. That is suggesting that a lot of this debt that's coming due, 50% of the debt comes due in the next 3 years. That it will be a story that will go hand in hand with what's happening in Washington, D.C.
And we will be here to cover it all. For Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell saying thank you so much for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services. Allow me to start by apologizing for the use of a four-letter word in this commercial. If you don't like four-letter words, you might want to turn down your volume. All right, are we good? Snow. There, I said it. One of my duties at Seasonal Services is to plan for winter and the onslaught of snow and ice. Are you responsible for securing a snow removal and ice control contractor for your commercial property? Now is the time to act. If you wait, you may be too late to secure one of southeastern Wisconsin's best snow and ice removal contractors. So if you own or manage a commercial property in Waukesha or western Milwaukee counties, please call Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services. We have been providing snow removal and ice control services for 25 years, and we are really good at keeping your commercial property safe. 262-392-3444 or online at seasonalservices.com.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlawns.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Rich Lawns.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Celebrate the season with the very best Christmas music ever made with iHeart Christmas. Streaming commercial free right now on your free iHeartRadio app.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
From shopping, gathering with friends, or wrapping presents, iHeart Christmas is the perfect soundtrack to your holidays. Listen now, commercial free on your favorite smart speaker and the free iHeart Radio app. Just search Holiday. Free never sounded so good.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show on this Deer Hunt Eve. Roads headed up north, undoubtedly packed with hunters. Want to give a shout out to my buddy Paul and his group, the Big Buck Slayers, who are in Harshaw, Wisconsin. Do you know where Harshaw is? Well, I am a Wisconsin geography expert, meaning that I quickly Googled this during the commercial break. It's in Oneida County, about 13 miles from Rhinelander. So it's up there, but not totally out of the reach of civilization. That's what Google says. I don't know. And Wikipedia confirms. Harshaw is an unincorporated community located in Oneida County, Wisconsin, United States. Harshaw is 13 miles west-northwest of Rhinelander in the town of Cassian. All right. Thanks for listening, Big Buck Slayers. They told me they're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show on your iHeartRadio app. Hope you get a turdy pointer. Matt Gaetz is out. Pam Bondi is in. And even people who have been following presidential nominations and this sort of thing for a long time are admitting that they are flummoxed. First, by the Gaetz pick itself. Most people, when he was announced, said, I didn't know he had a law degree. Admittedly, I did not either. The second thing that was very puzzling is long before Gaetz ever went before a confirmation hearing or even went before a Senate committee, he resigned his House seat. Now, this happened to coincide with when the House Ethics Committee was expected to release a report into allegations that he had a relationship with a 17-year-old girl, that he was doing drugs, that he was just not behaving in an ethical manner. And while people say, yes, he was never charged with any crimes, the FBI investigated this and found no criminal wrongdoing, there is a much bigger standard for charge you with a crime than there is for we think you belong in Congress. Gaetz, I think, very obviously wanted to get rid of that ethics complaint. The only way to do so is by having the House Ethics Committee no longer having jurisdiction over you, i.e., leaving the House. He did. I believe that he got together with President Trump's team and said, look, I want to join the Trump administration. The Trump team said Gaetz was a loyal surrogate, and we want him in the Trump administration. So he's going to leave Congress anyway. Gaetz said, look, I've got this thing that would probably be bad pub for you guys. So before I'm hired, how can we fix it so that I'm allowed to save face and it doesn't look like I am just running away from this ethics complaint? Gaetz could have been nominated for a less, I don't want to say less important position. He could have been nominated for a less visible position, HUD secretary or something like that. And people probably would have been outraged, but it wouldn't have engendered the same sort of backlash. So why did Trump nominate him for attorney general? Precisely to take that backlash. Precisely to give members of Congress, especially the Senate, a win. Republicans despise Gaetz because he was the one that led the coup against Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker. People have had issues with McCarthy, but he was genuinely very well liked. He had a lot of broad support across the caucus, and Gaetz was seen as sort of like a one-man kamikaze squadron taking him down. That gets Gaetz out of the Congress. It gives Republicans in Congress a bit of a win, and it also gives Trump leverage in what I perceive to be a negotiation with the Senate. All right, you skeptical senators, Murkowski, Marquayne Mullen, Susan Collins, the incoming senator from Utah who's replacing Mitt Romney, whose name escapes me. Those were the four who apparently hard-nose on Gaetz. I have heard that Gaetz there were about 15 to 20 Republicans who just were not going to vote for him. So there was no chance he was getting in. In exchange for, I believe, the skeptical senators voting yes on RFK, on Tulsi Gabbard, and or on Pete Hegseth, Gaetz was tossed out. And that was obviously always the plan. It's mutually beneficial. Gaetz is almost certainly still going to get a job in the Trump administration, albeit one that doesn't require Senate confirmation. Look for him to be a czar of some sort. Look for him to be an undersecretary of something. Look for him to be in a position that is visible and a position that is prominent, but that doesn't require him to go through the Senate. I believe that was the deal that was always put in place. The next battle that Republicans are going to have to wage is over Pete Hegseth. Apparently, the Trump transition team was blindsided by the fact that Hegseth appears to have paid hush money to a woman who at one time was accusing him of naughty things. I'll put it that way because I understand we do have a number of kids listening with their parents. This is going to be the next battle. But I believe that Gabbard and or RFK Jr. are going to get confirmed because Republicans, in exchange for withdrawing the Gaetz nomination, agreed to support the controversial but far less controversial picks than Matt Gaetz. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. We'll be right back after this.
If you already know football or you want to learn more, listen to the Mark Belling Football Preview and Picking Contest every week on News Talk 1130 WISN. Mark, along with football handicapping expert Mike Merlette, dissect the most interesting games. Plus, a listener can pick a game for a chance to win a $100 gift card.
The Mark Belling Football Preview and Picking Contest is presented by Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac, featuring hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles, plus impeccable customer service. It's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Why wait for Black Friday when you can save every day? Hasseless Mattress introduces Black Friday Plus. We've gone rogue and activated Black Friday deals through December 2nd on Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and more. You get the everyday, way low Hasseless price, plus additional savings, plus free next day delivery, plus free memory foam pillows on select mattresses. Get a Queen Serta Perfect Sleeper Oakmont A mattress. Other stores sell it for $2,610, but our Black Friday Plus price is just $888, plus 2 free Remy memory foam pillows. Other stores sell the King Sealy Posturepedic Golden Acres A for $2288, but you can get it now for just $1095, plus 2 free memory foam pillows. Big savings on Beauty Rest too, plus employee-free, hassle-free showrooms. Not just on Black Friday, but every day. Black Friday Plus through December 2nd at Hasseless Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasseless.com.
Hello, commercial customers. This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center, and it's end of the year tax planning season. We've continued to work hard sourcing over 400 of the best GM, Hino, and Isuzu commercial trucks from all over the country. Most are ready to go, and some are ready for your custom upfit. The best part? All of our trucks qualify for the Section 179 tax deduction for 2024. Now, I know you're busy running your business, but we've made it easy. Go to lynchtruckcenter.com, select your truck, and click on the green button on each truck page to instantly see potential tax savings. For example, if you buy a $50,000 truck at a 22% tax rate, you'll get $11,000 in potential tax savings. You can deduct 100% of the purchase price from your 2024 taxes. Essentially, the truck will only cost you $39,000. Remember, we are in the truck business, not accountants. So, be sure to verify these tax savings with your tax professional. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com today. We won't disappoint you.
Tom Nichols with Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols.
Sometimes you don't know whether or not you want to sue the guy. You need to know what your rights are. Do you have any? How much is it going to cost to get those rights vindicated? Is it worth it? How will this disrupt your business? And you personally? Legal remedies aren't always the answer, but you don't want to lose your rights by sitting on them. The time to get answers is before you start a lawsuit. Attorneys at Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols don't want you to spend your money on us unless you are going to be better off. You want to effectively assert your rights, but you also want to avoid throwing money down a litigation sinkhole. We won't need on-the-job training, but we do understand what you need. Results.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols. MTFN.com.
Call Universal Windows Direct to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get a free upgrade to triple pane glass. Plus, for every 2 windows you buy, you get 2 free. You'll be saying, I love my windows.
Universal Windows Direct.
We've seen that sleep apnea bully stop breathing more than 100 times an hour. But this problem is solvable, and Advent has simple solutions that have been proven to be extremely effective.
I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're thinking about what gift to get the firearms enthusiast that may be on your list this year, I highly recommend. I love this company. The rifles, the shotguns, the revolvers made right here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they've got 200 models to choose from, a wide variety of calibers and styles and prices, and you cannot go wrong with any of them. They're a great company. The easiest way to check out Henry's Firearms is to get a copy of their free holiday gift guide. Just go to their website. It's henryusa.com. Click on the catalog button in the top right-hand corner. They will mail the gift guide and a few decals, and it won't cost you a penny. So if you want to put something made in America under your Christmas tree, make sure you order the free gift guide and get free decals from Henry USA today. That's henryusa.com for a free gift guide and decals. henryusa.com. You're going to love this company. I love this company.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
In the Dan O'Donnell Show bumper music rotation to end this busy broadcast week. My favorite song by Dave Graystreet. Producer Dave is a massive Dave Matthews fan. What's your favorite song by him? Say Goodbye. That's another fantastic song. It is all about a one-night stand, though. Why is that your favorite exactly? Oh, because it came up. Dave says it came out when he was in college, and you do realize that, well, when did you meet Angela? In college! In college! You dog! Oh, you didn't start dating until after college. Wait. So, putting 2 and 2 together. Does Say Goodbye remind you of Angela? There was no Pre-game before? No. Okay. This is Dave says they didn't get along in college, and now you're married and you get along even worse, which is sort of how these things go. Yeah, Dave says now they're legally bound to not get along. Oh, that's funny. That tells a lot about it. Then again, my favorite song when I was in high school was "Crash Into Me" by Dave Matthews, which is, it was a big radio song. Or Satellite. I always loved Satellite. Two Step was a fantastic. And then Ants Marching was probably his biggest hit. No, actually, I would say Crash Into Me was probably his biggest hit. That song is all about him watching a girl like changing. So I guess I shouldn't really talk. All right. On that note, I hope you've learned a lot about Dan O'Donnell and Dave Michaels just in the last 30 seconds based on our Dave Matthews songs preferences. You're welcome. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Be safe and have fun if you're going out there hunting. Back Monday morning right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.